Hello, I'm Dr. James Carter. Today I want to invite you to start your morning a little differently, more gently, more mindfully, and full of energy. Have you ever woken up in the morning, sat by the window, watched the first rays of sunlight, and thought to yourself, why do I always feel so tired, even after a full night's sleep? I've heard that question hundreds of times from my patients, people in their 50 seconds, 60 seconds, even 70 seconds. They're not lazy, and they're not weak. They're simply feeding their bodies the wrong way in the morning. After the age of 50, our bodies are like finely tuned machines that have been running for decades. They need the right kind of fuel, and the very first fuel of the day, breakfast, sets the tone. But not all breakfasts give you real energy. Some people reach for pastries and strong coffee, only to wonder why by 10 a.m. they feel sluggish. Others skip breakfast entirely and find themselves craving fried foods by noon. I often tell my patients, morning isn't just about eating. It's when you teach your body how to live for the rest of the day. Research shows that certain natural foods can wake up your metabolism, helping your body burn energy efficiently, stay alert, and keep you feeling full for hours. Today, I want to share 10 superfoods that I, along with many nutrition experts, often recommend for breakfast. Not to follow trends or fads, but to rekindle your body's natural vitality. Before I name them, I want you to imagine something. Picture your morning, starting with a warm bowl of oatmeal, lightly scented with cinnamon, topped with a handful of ripe blueberries, and accompanied by a steaming cup of green tea. No refined sugar, no fancy ingredients, just simple foods yet bursting with life. How does that feel? This isn't a diet breakfast. It's a breakfast for someone who understands themselves. One of my patients, Evelyn, 62, told me she had lived her whole life starting her day with black coffee and pastries. That was until she discovered she had prediabetes. I suggested she switch to oatmeal and Greek yogurt, add chia seeds, and a few raspberries. 6 months later, she came back for her checkup. She had lost 6 pounds, her blood sugar was stable, and the best part, her face was radiant, her smile younger than ever. I never imagined just changing my breakfast could make my whole day feel so different, she said. And she was right. When you give your body what it needs, it knows how to thank you. Science supports this. Foods rich in fiber, protein, and healthy fats help your body burn energy steadily over several hours. No sudden sugar spikes, no mid-morning crashes. I'm not saying you must eat oatmeal or drink smoothies every morning, but I want you to understand that your first choice of the day is a signal to your body. Choose sweets, and your body braces for a day of ups and downs. Choose natural foods, and your body starts smoothly, full of energy. You may be thinking, I'm 60 now, does it even matter if I change? I tell you, it's never too late. I've met patients in their 70 seconds who started walking daily and switched to green smoothies for breakfast, and in just 3 months, they felt 10 years younger. Because energy doesn't come from age, it comes from habits. In the next few minutes, we'll explore 10 superfoods that can help you feel alert, strong, and ready to live every day fully, no matter your age. Sit comfortably, take a deep breath, and let me tell you about the first one. A humble grain that has nourished millions around the world. Oatmeal, the start of a healthy day. I still remember my first morning switching to oatmeal. It was over 20 years ago in my early 40s when I was busy with hospital work and long night shifts. I used to drink strong coffee, grab a quick egg sandwich, and rush to work. By 10 a.m. I always felt heavy, my heart raced, and my mind was foggy. At the time I thought, it must be age catching up, but really it was my morning choices. A Scottish colleague once told me, James, try oatmeal. People in the UK have lived on it for centuries and stayed healthy. I gave it a try. I remember that morning vividly. A warm bowl of oatmeal, a few walnuts, banana slices, and a light sprinkle of cinnamon. The aroma was simple, comforting. The feeling afterward was remarkable. No sudden hunger, no mid-morning slump, and most importantly, my body felt lighter and more in control. From that day, I began to understand. Breakfast can be the strongest medicine or the silent toxin that we put into our bodies each day. Oatmeal, a simple grain, is a powerhouse. It contains beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that slows digestion and keeps blood sugar steady. Have you ever noticed that after eating sugary cereal or pastries, just 2 hours later, you're ravenous again? That's your blood sugar spiking and crashing, triggering hunger, and throwing your energy for the day into a spiral. Oatmeal is different. It releases energy slowly, steadily, like a candle burning all morning. I once had a patient, Arthur, 58, a mechanic, who felt exhausted every morning despite going to bed early. After reviewing his diet, I discovered he had been starting his day with black coffee and donuts for 30 years. I said, "Arthur, let's try something small. Swap that breakfast for oatmeal for 3 weeks." He laughed. "That's it, doctor?" 3 weeks later, he came back with a radiant smile. "Doctor, I don't feel sleepy at work anymore. I feel alert all morning." My buddies at the shop even asked me what coffee I switched to. They said I look so energized. The truth is, he didn't change his coffee, he just changed the way he nourished his body. And you know what? Science has supported this for a long time. A study published in Nutrients showed that people who eat oatmeal regularly have a lower risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. Their LDL bad cholesterol also drops significantly. But I like to think more simply. Oatmeal is a food that helps you slow down a little, live more mindfully with your body. Cooking a good bowl of oatmeal takes time. You wait for the water to boil, enjoy the gentle aroma, then add fruit, sprinkle in seeds. The whole process makes you present in the moment, no rush, no worry. A morning like that doesn't just nourish the body, it soothes the soul. Many people ask me, "Doctor, can I eat oatmeal every day?" I answer, not only can you, you should. But don't let it become a mindless habit. Make it a small ritual, a way of taking care of yourself. You can mix oatmeal with almond milk, add chia seeds and berries, or if you prefer something savory, cook it with eggs, spinach, and a drizzle of olive oil. Both are wonderful. Every morning when I eat oatmeal, I think of millions of others starting their day in the same way, quietly, slowly, yet full of life. In an increasingly noisy world, sometimes what we need isn't more energy, but energy that comes from inner calm. And I believe a warm bowl of oatmeal is the start of that. Now, if you're ready, I want to introduce the next superfood, small, vibrant, yet holding the power of nature, berries. When I was a child, I thought fruit was just dessert, something we ate after the main meal. But the older I got and the longer I worked in medicine, the more I realized that sometimes the simplest things, a few blueberries, a few slices of strawberry, can transform a day, even your health. I often call berries nature's little jewels. They're not just beautiful, they carry the power of life, vibrant colors, fresh flavors, and pure energy. A few weeks ago, a patient named Linda, 65, came to see me. She was tired, her skin dull, and easily irritable. She told me that lately, she no longer felt excited to start her day. I asked about her diet. She sighed, "I eat white bread with store-bought strawberry jam and a cup of coffee." I thought it was enough. I smiled and said, "Linda, jam is not the same as real strawberries. Try replacing it with fresh berries every morning, just a little." 3 weeks later, she returned. And I must say, she looked different. Her face was brighter, her eyes more lively, her voice full of energy. She said, "Doctor, I started adding blueberries and strawberries to my breakfast. At first, I did it for my health, but now I do it for the joy. It makes life colorful again." I understand that feeling. Berries don't just feed the body, they feed the emotions. The deep blue of blueberries, the bright red of strawberries, the rich pink of raspberries, these are more than colors. They're signals of life. Their pigments, anthocyanins, and polyphenols are powerful antioxidants, shown to protect cells, improve memory, and reduce inflammation. Harvard Health has called berries one of the healthiest foods on the planet. Not because they're magical, but because they work subtly, helping the body self-regulate, recover, and maintain natural balance. I often tell my patients, berries are like a good friend, quiet, unassuming, but always there when you need them. You can add them to oatmeal, mix them into Greek yogurt, or simply eat a few fresh berries on their own in the morning. Every time I bite into a fresh strawberry, I feel like I'm absorbing a little of the sun's energy filtered by nature through sunlight, rain, and seasons. Here's an interesting fact. In long-term studies, older adults who eat berries regularly, about 3 to 4 times a week, experience a slower decline in memory by nearly 2.5 years compared to those who don't. That's why I always say, let the colors on your plate be the gentlest medicine in the world. You see, our bodies are wired to love nature. When we give them what nature provides, they know how to heal themselves. I remember once a patient asked me, "Doctor, is there a vitamin that can make me feel younger?" I replied, "Yes. But it's not in a pill. It's in the bowl of berries you eat each morning." Because in every strawberry, every tiny blueberry, there's a whole system of nutrients, vitamin C, manganese, fiber, and hundreds of plant compounds working together to protect you. Every morning when I mix berries into my oatmeal, I always think, this isn't just a meal, it's my way of saying thank you to my body for working hard every day. Have you noticed that when we eat fresh, colorful foods, we also feel happier? Maybe it's because, on a deeper level, our souls are nourished by the life in each berry. So, tomorrow morning, if you're feeling a bit off, tired, or just want to rediscover that spark when you start your day, try adding a few berries to your breakfast. Don't think of it as healthy eating. Think of it as a ritual of joy. And if you keep doing it long enough, you'll realize health isn't something we chase. It naturally comes when we live in harmony with our bodies. Now, I want to talk about a food I love just as much, one that's great for your gut and helps your body burn energy efficiently. Greek yogurt, the secret of gut power. There's a saying I really like, health doesn't start in the gym, it starts in your gut. It may sound strange, but modern science confirms it. Over 70% of our immune system resides in the gut. It's not just where food is digested, it's a control center for overall health, influencing the brain, the heart, and even our emotions. Among the hundreds of foods I've recommended to patients, one always remains a personal favorite, Greek yogurt. Not the sweetened stuff from the supermarket, but the real yogurt, thick, lightly tangy, smooth, and packed with billions of live bacteria that support digestion. I remember an older patient, John, 63, who used to think he was as healthy as a young man. That was until he started experiencing bloating, indigestion, restless sleep, and frequent irritability. Upon checking, I realized the problem wasn't his liver or his heart, it was his gut. His microbiome was seriously out of balance, the result of years of rushed meals, little vegetables, lots of red meat and sugar. I didn't give him pills right away. I suggested something small. John, every morning, eat a cup of plain Greek yogurt, add a few berries, and a sprinkle of chia seeds. That's it. Do this consistently for a month. He laughed, half doubtful. "Doctor, if that actually works, I'll buy you coffee for a year." A month later, John returned. His weight had dropped slightly, his skin looked brighter, and his sleep had improved. He said, "Maybe I do need to start that coffee budget for you after all." We laughed together. But what truly changed wasn't just his belly, it was the life inside his gut that had been revived. You see, Greek yogurt contains a tiny universe of microbes, billions of tiny friends, quietly protecting you every day. They improve digestion, enhance nutrient absorption, balance hormones, and even affect mood. Many studies show that people who regularly eat probiotic-rich foods experience lower stress and better focus. I believe it. Because a healthy gut leads to a peaceful mind. The human body is a delicate ecosystem, and Greek yogurt is like a diligent gardener tending to that inner soil every day. Many ask me, "Can I just take a probiotic pill instead?" I say, you could, but you'd miss the most important part, the living energy in the food itself. A spoonful of fresh, cool yogurt, with its slight tang and the natural sweetness of fruit, it doesn't just nourish your gut, it awakens a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for a body that works tirelessly, minute by minute, to keep you healthy. If you want to start your morning supporting digestion, stabilizing blood sugar, and sustaining energy, try combining a cup of plain Greek yogurt, a handful of blueberries, raspberries, or strawberries, a tablespoon of chia seeds or flax seeds, optional, a drizzle of raw honey for mild sweetness. Simple, gentle, yet more effective than any detox you've ever heard of. I call it a smart morning because it nourishes you from within, not just fills your stomach. I've told groups of older patients, we don't need to live forever, we just need to live mindfully and lightly each day. And sometimes that begins with a cup of Greek yogurt in the morning, because when you treat your gut well, it rewards you with health, peace, and a clear mind. Next, I'll tell you about a seemingly familiar food, yet one that forms the foundation of muscle strength and mental power: eggs, nature's perfect gift to humans. Eggs, nature's perfect gift. I've been a physician for over 30 years, and throughout that time, I've always considered eggs one of the simplest yet most magical foods nature has given us. Eggs small in the palm of your hand, yet holding within them the full blueprint for a new life. If you think about it, you'll realize eggs are the only food capable of developing into a complete organism using only the nutrients it carries within itself. It's not just food, it's a lesson in wholeness. I still remember the first time I shared this in a nutrition consultation with an older patient. A 70-year-old woman named Martha smiled and said, "Doctor, I've eaten eggs my whole life, but never thought about them this deeply. Maybe I've been eating a miracle every morning without knowing it." I laughed. Exactly, Martha. A simple miracle inside that fragile shell. In medicine, we used to debate eggs endlessly. Some worried about cholesterol, others warned about clogged arteries. But today, science is clear. Eating eggs in moderation, 1 to 2 per day, is completely safe for the heart and may even be beneficial. The yolk contains choline, a nutrient that nourishes the brain, supporting memory and focus. The white provides pure, easily digestible protein that helps maintain muscle, especially important for those over 50. One egg also contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own. Think about that to create life. An egg needs it all. And now, we get to inherit all that energy in every meal. I often tell my older patients, if you're not sure what to eat for breakfast, have 2 boiled eggs. Simple, filling, low in sugar, and it helps stabilize your muscles. I remember a patient, George, 68, who skipped breakfast because he feared gaining weight. He only drank black coffee, thinking it was enough, but he often felt dizzy, shaky, and irritable. I suggested a small change. George, instead of skipping breakfast, have 2 boiled eggs and a slice of whole grain bread. 3 weeks later, he returned, smiling brighter than ever. "Doctor, I didn't realize eggs could make me feel this healthy." I replied, "That's because your body finally got the right fuel it needed." Eggs aren't just protein. They are a source of living energy, helping repair tissue, maintain memory, slow muscle decline, and balance hormones. And when paired with greens, avocado, or olive oil, your body absorbs vitamins better, especially vitamins D and K, the gatekeepers of strong bones. Many people ask me, "Doctor, is it okay to eat eggs every day?" I always say, if you're not allergic or have severe liver disease, eating eggs daily is one of the best things you can do for your body. But I also emphasize, not all eggs are the same. Free-range, grain-fed eggs usually contain more omega-3 seconds, vitamin D, and antioxidants than industrial eggs. I often tell medical students, don't just look at your patients through a stethoscope, look through their refrigerator too. Because what we eat daily is the real prescription. A breakfast of 2 eggs, some greens, and a cup of tea may seem simple, but it's the start of a day that's alert, energized, and calm. I love how the Japanese call breakfast ichiban, meaning the first and most important thing. Perhaps that's part of why they live so long. They begin the day with respect and attention. Eggs small, humble, yet enough to nourish a whole life. I still believe the simplest foods often carry the deepest lessons. Health isn't in grand gestures, but in the consistency of small choices repeated daily with gratitude. Next, I want to talk about a seemingly bland food that's actually the foundation of life itself. Whole grains, the quiet friend of your heart and blood sugar. I'll never forget my patient William, 72, who brought me a bag of white bread and asked, "Doctor, I've eaten this every morning for decades. Now you want me to switch to whole grain. What's the difference?" I smiled. "It's very different, William, like the difference between a shortcut and the road your body truly needs to take. White bread, white rice, and polished grains, all stripped of the outer layer containing fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What remains is empty starch, digested quickly, causing blood sugar spikes, rapid crashes, early hunger, and fat storage around the belly. Whole grains like oats, brown rice, barley, or whole grain bread are nature's true gift. They provide slow, steady energy and help the heart, brain, and digestive system work smoothly. Across hundreds of studies, the conclusion is consistent. People who eat whole grains daily have a significantly lower risk of heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. It's no coincidence that in the world's blue zones places where people live the longest, like Okinawa in Japan or Sardinia in Italy, daily meals always include whole grains, cooked slowly, eaten slowly, and life lived slowly. I once asked a 90-year-old Greek woman her secret to longevity. She smiled and pointed to her morning bowl of oatmeal. "I've eaten this for 70 years, doctor. No rush, not too much, just consistent." Ugh. I realized her smile held a philosophy. Sustainability doesn't come from big gestures, but from the rhythm of daily life. Our bodies are like delicate engines. They don't need explosive energy, they need steady fuel. Whole grains do exactly that. The soluble fiber slows sugar absorption, keeps blood sugar stable, lowers LDL bad cholesterol, and nourishes the gut microbiome. When the gut is healthy, the heart is healthy. When the heart is healthy, the brain is sharper. There's a quiet connection between all of them, and whole grains are the thread that ties it together. I once advised William to start with small steps. This week, don't try to change everything. Just swap one slice of white bread for whole grain bread and drink an extra glass of water each morning. 3 months later, he returned for his follow-up. His blood pressure was more stable, blood sugar slightly lower, and his waist had slimmed down. He smiled, handed me a loaf of whole grain bread, and said, "Maybe the road you were talking about is longer, but it's worth taking, doctor." I just placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "William, you're on the right track. Through my years as a physician, I've learned something simple. People often want change to happen fast, but the body doesn't need speed, it needs patience and care. Whole grains won't make you young overnight, but they will keep you healthy year after year. Start your morning with a bowl of oatmeal, a few slices of banana, a sprinkle of cinnamon, or a handful of walnuts. Let your body absorb energy slowly, like the sunrise rising little by little. I always tell my patients, age 50, 60, or 70 doesn't matter. What matters is what you choose to fuel your body with each morning. And if you choose whole grains, you're choosing sustainability for your heart, mind, and the years ahead. Now, let me tell you about nuts and seeds, small gems packed with power to fight aging, protect the brain, and nourish the heart. Nuts, the tiny gems of longevity. I once told a patient, sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest power, like a single almond or walnut. He laughed and asked, "Just a few tiny nuts can really do anything for health, doctor?" I replied, "Eat a handful every day for 3 months, then come back and tell me." And he did. 3 months later, his lab results showed lower bad cholesterol, balanced blood lipids, and most importantly, he said he felt alert and vibrant each morning. Those tiny nuts, almonds, walnuts, pecans, cashews, pumpkin seeds, are nature's longevity gems. I call them that because they are packed with healthy fats, plant protein, fiber, and dozens of trace minerals that older adults need. Magnesium, zinc, selenium, vitamin E, quiet, unassuming they work behind the scenes, nurturing the heart, protecting blood vessels, and keeping the mind sharp. A famous Harvard study tracked over 120,000 people for more than 30 years. The results? Those who ate a small handful of nuts daily lived, on average, 2 years longer than those who rarely ate them. 2 years may not sound like much, but if those are 2 healthy, active, joyful years spent walking, talking, and laughing with loved ones, it's priceless. I remember one morning, a 8-year-old patient named Margaret told me she used to hate nuts. They're hard, bland, and not tasty at all, she said. But after a mild heart attack, she was determined to change. Now, every morning she eats Greek yogurt with a few walnuts, some apple slices, and a drizzle of honey. 3 months later, I saw her again, rosy skin, sprightly walk. She said, "Doctor, I feel like my mind is sharper, my heart beats more smoothly." I just smiled. That's your body saying thank you, Margaret. The healthy fats in nuts, especially omega-3 seconds in walnuts, help reduce inflammation, protect brain cells, and support memory. For people over 50, these are essentials. Many still fear fat, but here's what I want you to remember. Not all fat is bad. Fats from nuts help your body absorb vitamins, nourish your skin, and maintain stable energy throughout the day. I usually advise patients, eat a small handful of nuts daily, about 30 grams. Mix them into oatmeal or yogurt, or enjoy them alone as a small snack. And remember, it's not about how much you eat, it's about consistency. Every almond you eat is a message to your body. I choose health. I choose longevity. I choose to care for myself. Empray. I love how the Japanese call mindful eating shoku ikan, eating in harmony with life. Perhaps living well after 50 isn't about dieting or fighting age, but about eating with gratitude and awareness. And nuts, though small, remind us of that every day. I often tell my patients, don't think of it as just eating nuts. Think of it as planting seeds for longevity. Next, I'll tell you about another tiny friend, seemingly ordinary, yet extraordinarily powerful for helping your body burn energy more efficiently. Chia seeds, the small key that unlocks your body's natural metabolism. Some of the smallest things in life we often overlook until they change our lives. Chia seeds are a perfect example of that. I remember a few years ago, one of my patients, Linda, 65, came to see me feeling tired, bloated, and struggling to lose weight. She said, "I'm eating less, but I still feel drained. Doctor, is something wrong with my body?" Looking at her diet, I realized she was missing a key to unlock her metabolism. I suggested she start each morning by adding a spoonful of chia seeds to a glass of warm lemon water or mixing them into Greek yogurt. 3 weeks later, she returned with a radiant smile. "Doctor, I don't know what happened, but I sleep better. My digestion is regular, and I feel so much lighter." I smiled and replied, "There's no magic here, Linda. Your body is just finally getting what it needs." Chia seeds smaller than the tip of a pencil contain an astonishing nutritional treasure. A small spoonful provides soluble fiber, plant-based omega-3 seconds, calcium, zinc, magnesium, and antioxidants, all essential for a healthy digestive system, a steady heart, and well-nourished cells. The fiber in chia seeds can absorb 10-12 times their weight in water, forming a gel in the stomach. This gel slows digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, prolongs satiety, and helps the body burn calories more efficiently. That's why I call them the small key to metabolism. Many of my patients over 50 struggle with digestion, bloating, or even constipation. It's not because they eat too much, their gut has just grown lazy. Chia seeds act like a gentle coach, getting the digestive system moving again and reigniting the metabolic fire in the body. Some ask me, "Doctor, I don't like complicated meals. Is there a simple way to use chia seeds?" I always say, very simple. Just 1 small spoonful each morning is enough. You can soak chia seeds in water overnight and drink them in the morning as a gentle detox. Mix them into oatmeal, yogurt, or smoothies. Sprinkle them over salads or soups. I like to call them the seeds of patience because it takes 10-15 minutes for them to swell into a soft gel, just as the body needs time to restore itself. Chia seeds also quietly reduce inflammation, a factor linked to aging, heart disease, and belly fat. I once read a small study in Mexico showing that just 8 weeks of regular chia use lowered bad cholesterol while raising HDL, the good cholesterol. Science describes it in chemical terms. I describe it in human terms. When you care for your body with small things, it rewards you with great things. After 50, we don't need complicated diets or expensive pills. We just need to return to nature, to simple, pure, honest foods. Chia seeds are a symbol of that. Every morning, when I sprinkle a few chia seeds on my oatmeal, I'm not just eating, I'm reminding myself to slow down, be grateful, and listen to my body. If you're looking for a gentle way to jumpstart metabolism, burn energy efficiently, reduce inflammation, and keep your mind sharp, I can say this with certainty. Start with a small spoonful of chia seeds. Now, let me tell you about another familiar friend, green tea. A seemingly simple drink, yet it contains the science of longevity and the art of calm. Green tea, the quiet energy of longevity. I've always liked starting my mornings with a cup of hot green tea. Not coffee, not a fancy smoothie, just a simple cup of green tea. Over the years, I've realized that green tea is not just a beverage. It's a lesson in calmness and enduring health. Imagine this, a quiet morning, soft sunlight streaming through the window. You take a sip of green tea, warmth spreading through your body. At that moment, your body begins a series of subtle yet miraculous changes. The heart beats steadily, blood sugar stabilizes, and tired cells begin receiving renewed energy. I remember a 6-7-year-old patient, Helen, who came to see me with chronic fatigue and high blood pressure. She was constantly drinking black coffee, eating breakfast on the run. I suggested a small change. Helen, try a cup of green tea in the morning with a few slices of lemon and let your body enjoy it slowly. 2 months later, she returned with a completely different look in her eyes. "Doctor," she smiled, "I never imagined a cup of tea could make me feel this good." Green tea contains epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG, a powerful antioxidant that boosts metabolism, burns excess fat, and quietly reduces inflammation. It also supports heart health, stabilizes blood pressure, and improves vascular function. In simple terms, a sip of green tea sends the message, take gentle care of your heart. What I love most about green tea is the power of patience. 1 cup doesn't change the body instantly. It's the daily, steady rhythm that aligns body and mind. Like meditation, drinking green tea is both nourishment and mindfulness, helping reduce stress, the silent enemy of heart health and aging. I once read a study in Japan. People who drank 5-6 cups of green tea daily had a 26% lower risk of dying from heart disease compared to non-drinkers. But more than the numbers, it's the calm, alert, and peaceful spirit that green tea brings. Every morning, when I sip green tea, I'm not just adding antioxidants to my body. I'm reminding myself of my natural rhythm, patience, and gratitude for my heart, my body, and each day of life ahead. If you're looking for a gentle, yet scientific way to start your morning, try green tea. No need for anything fancy, just take it slowly, savor each sip, and let your body feel the warmth. Because health, like life itself, often begins in these simple, steady moments. Nuts, tiny gems for the heart. I have a habit every afternoon, sitting in the park, eating a few walnuts or almonds. Many people think of this as just a snack, but in reality, it's medicine for the heart. Nuts like almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, and flax seeds contain unsaturated fats, plant-based omega-3 seconds, and soluble fiber, all key nutrients that help to reduce bad cholesterol, LDL, increase good cholesterol, HDL, reduce inflammation in blood vessels, stabilize heart rhythm and blood pressure. Harvard research shows people who eat 30 grams of nuts per day reduce their risk of cardiovascular disease by 25-30% compared to those who rarely eat them. But here's something important to remember. How you eat nuts matters. Eat them raw or lightly roasted without salt or sugar. Don't overeat. A small handful each day is enough. If you have digestive or kidney issues, choose easy to digest nuts like cashews or chestnuts. These tiny nuts are like silent friends, supporting your heart every day. Sometimes strength doesn't come from big gestures, but from small habits that we nurture consistently. If every day you nurture your heart with simple things, a handful of nuts, a smile, and a heart full of gratitude, that alone becomes the best medicine for life. After over 35 years caring for thousands of hearts from patients who made miraculous recoveries to those who left too soon, I've learned something profound. The heart needs more than nutrition and medicine. It needs love, peace, and gratitude. When we are grateful even just for the morning breath, a healthy meal, or a loved one's smile, the body begins to change. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure drops. Stress hormones gradually fade. Science confirms it. People who maintain a daily gratitude habit have up to 20% lower risk of heart disease, not because of magic, but because a peaceful mind allows the heart to beat in its natural rhythm. If you ask me, how can I keep my heart healthy for the long run? I would say, treat your heart like a close friend. Feed it well, give it enough rest, and listen when it's tired. And every day, don't forget to say thank you to your own heart. A grateful heart is a healthy heart. Because when we live with gratitude, every heartbeat becomes a peaceful melody. I'm Dr. James Carter. Thank you for taking the time to listen. May you always be healthy, strong, and filled with peace in every step of your life. Thank you for joining me until the end of this video. If you found these tips helpful, please like, subscribe, and share so more people can take care of their health. Because every day we care for our body is a day we are grateful for life.